Good morning, Las Vegas. It's time to rise and shine.
Good morning and welcome to Rise and Shine. My name is Michele Kubiak, aka Shine, and today we have JC here filling in for Patrick Fraze, and we're gonna start out like we normally do, and with guessing the weather, and we have a special guest today. So if you're out there thinking of buying a home and don't know which loan to get, we have somebody here we're going to share with that will talk about financing for home loans. So what do you think the weather is today, JC?
Probably 80.
80?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my guess is, well, I cheated. The high today is going to be 75.
Oh, okay. Much
Yes,
better. Much
yes.
better.
5 degrees
Yeah.
makes a difference. And we're currently around 67 degrees. And, do you have any current events that you know of that you want to talk about?
Well, right now I'm just involved with some, like this beauty pageant organization thing, and they're kind of hiring applicants for, Miss Fabulous Beauty Pageant. So that's basically what I'm involved in. And also I have my show here on social media.
Oh, okay.
And the name of my show is Spotlight.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
you can tune in to Spotlight on social media shows.
Yes.
And you're a fashion designer, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Fashion is my religion, and I love the fact that our guest is, Irish Italian. It's an Italian. I'll take the
Yes.
Italian side because I love Italian fashion.
Oh.
Yes, I love Italian. I love Versace, the way it's supposed to be pronounced, and Dolce Gabbana, and all those big, Italian labels.
Yeah.
Valentino, too.
Oh, yeah, Valentino. I remember.
And let's not forget Armani.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
Armani, definitely.
Yes.
Good. How about those Golden Knights? Have you been watching the games?
I honestly don't know much about sports, so maybe you can
Yes.
enlighten me.
Yes. Well, the playoffs start today, right? Or
Oh,
was
wow.
that yesterday?
I love the jerseys, though.
Yes, and I was at the game last week, and we won 4-1, and we actually commented on the jerseys because you're fashion, right? And
Yes.
how there's so many different jerseys that they
Yeah,
have now. Anywhere from for the military, they have a camouflage, and really neat. I'm excited to watch the game tonight.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know who's going to be there tonight. All my family, my loved ones from Henderson. They're all going because they're huge Golden Knight fans.
Yes, go Knights, go.
It'll be splattered all over social.
Definitely. I love watching
Yeah.
it when I'm not at the game and
Mhm.
seeing everybody post and watching the score and everything. It's definitely much better in person. So if you can get
Yes,
out there and
yes.
get some tickets and go support our team, it's a good time. All the energy is so great.
Go Golden Knights.
Yes, and there's another event coming up this Saturday. I've been talking about it the last 2 shows, and there is a drum clinic at 2 p.m. on Saturday. If you want information on that, have kids, family members that want to learn the drums. Les Warner from the Colt will be one of the instructors, and it's supposed to be a good time.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and go on our first break. So we'll be back, so stay clear and we'll be back.
This show is brought to you by Modern Word Ministries.
Trying to buy a home these days is tough. We know. We hear it every day. Home inventory is at an all-time low. It's a seller's market, and cash buyers have the advantage. Recently, cash buyers made up more than a quarter of all home purchases. So, how do you compete with cash buyers and win? By becoming a cash buyer yourself. How do you do that? With New American Funding's Buyer Accepted program. Here's how it works. Buyer Accepted LLC, an affiliated company of New American Funding, will buy your new home with cash and sell it back to you for the original purchase price, plus a service fee that can be added to the purchase price of the home once you secure mortgage financing with New American Funding. This turns you into a cash buyer and helps you win the bidding war. And the best part? You don't need to sell your current home first. Don't miss this opportunity to buy your dream home. Call New American Funding today or visit newamericanfunding.com to learn more about becoming a cash buyer and winning the bidding war.
Social Media Shows is a production company based here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We offer these services. We've been streaming shows live in real time for over 4 years on major social media platforms and also on our website socialmediashows.com. And we are now on Roku TV. We welcome you to have your own show on our TV network. Call us 651-955-8743 or email us at admin@socialmediashows.com.
Welcome back. My name is Michele Kubiak, and
My name is JC Crisologo, and I'm filling in for Patrick Frazee. And Patrick, get well soon.
Yes, get better, Patrick.
Yes.
And we are going to go ahead and introduce you to our guest who's going to talk about money. That's his expertise. And his name is Larry Garlutzo with New American Funding. I've known him since 2001. We've worked together over the years, and they have some great loan programs that he'll go over with us.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, JC.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Weather prediction, I think it's going to be nice and warm. Oh, we already did that.
Yeah.
I was into the weather, though, so I want to be involved.
75 is cool. I love 75.
Yes,
so nice.
perfect.
You know, I tend to play a little bit of golf before we talk money, right? I like
Nice.
golf, so out there on the golf course on Sunday, went to Angel Park. Great shape. It was
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was nice. It was so beautiful out there. So I'm glad the cold weather's back, right? Originally from Colorado, you know, it seems like I would be more adept to having, you know, some cold. No, I've totally lost that. I'm a desert rat. I've been here since 2003, 2001, 2000, something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, and so, I love that it's getting warm out. Because you know what that means? Home buying season is what it means, right, Michelle?
Yes.
You're a realtor, right?
Yes.
Um,
It's been super. It just started getting pretty busy right now out in the real estate market.
for sure.
We had a couple of hang-ups. And so, Larry, there was, when we were in 2020 and 2022, your company came out with a loan product that I think I was the first one in Las Vegas to use it.
Yeah, you were the guinea pig, so to speak.
Oh.
Yes, I was the guinea pig. And the program's called Buyer Accepted, and it makes you look like a cash buyer, but that's Larry's product, so I'll let you go ahead and tell him about
Thanks,
Buyer
Michelle. I
Accepted.
appreciate that. You know, this really came about because we are privately owned. In fact, we're one of the largest privately owned mortgage banks in the United States. Patty and Rick Arviello own our company. They're the CEOs of our company, and Patty and and Rick, being able to do that, can come up with some unique products that would take other companies a long time to do. They would have to go through committees. They would have to, do all this stuff to be able to do. And there's been a lot of people try to copy this, but I remember the conversation, and actually one of our area managers in Colorado, his name's Aaron Nennis, I'll give him some props, kind of came up with this idea. We were running into the problem back then, if you remember, where it was really a seller's market, right? Mm-hmm. We had a decent amount of inventory. We never have enough in Las Vegas. Inventory is always the problem, right? But if you had a contingent offer, meaning so I want to buy a new house, but I got to sell this one first in order to be able to close on the new one, the sellers weren't taking those offers. They weren't taking contingent offers. So in order to get your offer accepted, you either already had to have sold your house and now you're renting, you had to move twice and have all the money ready to go, or cash was winning. So we said, wouldn't that be cool? I was standing close. I didn't actually say it out loud, but I heard the conversation. Wouldn't it be neat if we could buy the house for our clients, cash, be a cash offer, and then close the loan after the fact?
Oh.
And our owner of the company, I remember him standing there, Rick Arviello, he said, well, why can't we do that? And I'm telling you, within 1 or 2 months, Rick had put together this company called Buyer Accept. Now we're about to rebrand that company, and we're going to call it NAF Home instead of NAF, meaning New American Funding. We acronym everything in the mortgage business, just FYI. And I know a lot of industries do that, but I try not to do that. So it's one of my New Year's resolutions for this year is not to say NAF or not New American Funding, but it's going to be called NAF Home. And so the idea is, so if you were my customer, we would do our normal pre-approval process, and we'd start talking about that. And you'd say, oh, Larry, my house has to sell first because I need that money for the down payment. Mm-hmm. And then I would suggest, well, why don't we look into our NAF Cash or our Buyer Accepted program to get your offer accepted faster? Or, because the sellers, all they're going to know is it's a cash offer coming from a corporation. Cash is king, right? They're like, yes. It's going to close within 7 or 8 days, and the transaction's finished as far as the seller is concerned. So all it takes is really a full, we call it a TBD or to be determined. See, another acronym, right? To be determined. To be determined loan approval. So we'll get everything up front. We'll get all of your documentation, everything we possibly need to submit the loan. The only thing that's missing is the property, right? So we get that through, get it fully underwritten and approved, and once we have that, then we can start using our buyer accepted team. So our realtor partner, like this one transaction we did, that you would then become the realtor of both buyer accepted and our, let's say, Mr. Smith is our buyer. So you would go out there with the buyer, show them homes as normal. You find one that you like, then you would write a cash offer. So you write your cash offer, you submit it. If it gets accepted, great. We're going to close as fast as possible on that cash offer, and then we have up to 90 days to close the loan after the fact. So the transaction closes. The buyer, let's call him Mr. Smith, can move into the property the day we close on the cash, and we're going to close the loan after the fact. We can close it right away. We can close it within about 12 days. Or if the borrower needs the home to sell that they've got currently, it's under contract, we're waiting for that escrow to close so that we have the extra cash, we can extend that to 90 days. Now, I always get the question, what happens at 90 days if my house doesn't sell? Mm-hmm. Am I out the money? Well, case by case, we can extend that out. But honestly, we would probably then put some pressure on you to lower the purchase price if you haven't gotten an accepted offer, right, on your home, and find ways to get that closed. Maybe not put as much money down with a 5% down program or whatever. But it really is a slick program. It works fantastic. And we've had a lot of really happy people go with that.
And it helps if there's multiple offers on a property. That's what happened when you guys brought it out, right? And now we're seeing multiple offers on properties again, so that's going to come back around, and you'll probably do a lot more of that type of financing. So you look like a cash buyer, however, you are getting a loan on the back end. If that makes sense. Right,
after the fact. After it all closes, the seller's got their money, everything's fine, and then we basically close the loan for you after the fact. And even when it became, this market changes so quick from buyer's market to seller's market to seller's market to buyer's market. Even when it was a buyer's market, we found that those clients of ours that were using the Buyer Accept program or the NAF Home program, they were getting their offers accepted at a lower purchase price. So we were saving them some money because they were able to come in with cash and say, hey, I'm going to close on this house in 10 days. And the sellers were like, we'll take the cash offer over these contingent financing offers. Now, I've had clients, we set it up that way, and they went and wrote the offer as themselves, and it got accepted. Great. No worries there. We'll just do a normal forward mortgage as we do. At New American Funding, we can close loans in 13, 14 days, business days. We pride ourselves in closing on time, working with everybody within the community. Our underserved markets are a major focus for us. We just all the products that you can possibly think of. Non-qualified mortgage, or everybody spews out there non-QM because there's acronyms. But
So many.
non-qualified mortgage, what that stands for. So that's all of your debt service ratio loans. That's more for investors, where as an investor you can qualify to purchase a home just based on the home you're buying, on whether or not it's going to cash flow. Investors love this program, right? They don't have to come out with all their tax returns and all that stuff. All we have to do is show that that property is going to cash flow by $1, and we can close that loan as an investment property.
That's
So
great.
that's huge. Bank statement loans for self-employed borrowers, right? For TV hosts and fashion designers who
Yeah.
get paid,
Yes.
for real estate
Yeah.
professionals
Yes.
who get paid $10.99 and you're self-employed. If you have a great accountant, that's usually a loan officer's worst nightmare, is because they write everything off, right? We don't have any
Yes.
income to
Yes.
qualify. So the bank statement loan works well, that we can use 12 months of bank statements, your deposits coming in, to show your income. That works pretty good too.
Sweet.
Just close, and then especially in Las Vegas, we have a lot of entertainers in town,
Yes.
and I've closed a few loans recently for some of our bigger named entertainers. I
Mhm.
can't tell you because
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's all
Confidential.
confidential information.
Yes.
And working on one right now where I have an entertainer. She's a wonderful. She's an old friend of mine from
Mhm.
cruise ship days, and
Wow.
she thought she had a bankruptcy not too far in the past, but far enough, and she thought she was out of it. She thought she was going to have to rent like kind of the rest of her life. And there's a lot of programs out there to help people. First of all, after your derogatory credit stuff, out of bankruptcy, out of foreclosure, we've got some programs that can get you back on your feet and get you back into home ownership. So I say, if you're renting, you're going to rent for the rest of your life. And her complaint was, my rent keeps going up and up and
That's
up and up
very
and up
true,
and up,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That, if you're paying rent right now, you're just paying somebody else's mortgage.
Yeah.
So on your self-employed loans,
Uh-huh.
you do that from the bank statements, right? So what if the bank statements are in the buyer's LLC? So
Yeah.
you count everything in that LLC account?
Yes. So
Okay.
we can use business bank statements, or we can
Oh.
use personal bank statements. Either
Oh.
way,
Or both?
or both, or a combination of the two.
Great.
So at New American Funding, we have those products in-house. We basically have our investors that have the New American Funding product line within our own underwriting and processing. So we don't have to send it out. We don't have to broker it out. We don't have to lose control over the loan. We have those right in-house. So it's great. We have a fantastic system at New American Funding as far as support for the loan originator, with having area production managers that take care of the liaison between the underwriter and the loan officer. His name's Andy Yates. I'll give him a shout out here on TV. A wonderful set of underwriters. Patty and Rick built this company really for the originator, so that we can get out there and help more people. I've worked at companies where it felt like it was built for the underwriter, where they always putting the stops on you. But here it's pretty easy to get things done.
If somebody wants to get financing, how do they get a hold of you?
So there's a few ways. I mean, phone is the easiest. I'm Gen X. I know we get forgotten about a lot, but I like the phone.
I love it.
I like the phone. I like to do an application
Yes.
over the phone and get the story behind it.
Mhm.
In person is great too, although I like over the phone first just to figure out, let's take an application, let's run credit. I can give you some ideas of what information to bring with you if you're going to come to the meeting. I don't think I like to. I don't like to do just cold meetings and
Mhm.
start applications
Right.
because it takes a little while to do
Yes.
an application. I
Mhm.
think we waste time.
Yeah.
So I like to do over the phone. I do have an online app that you can get to with. I have a nice redirect, which is just my name, so it's www.larrygarlutzo.com. It'll take you to my New American Funding website where you can say pre-qual now, and it'll take you right to the application. So if you're more, hey, I don't really want to talk to anybody. I work all day, and I'd like to just sit at my computer or my iPad buy the TV, 9 o'clock at night, and fill out my application. So we have that for you too. And the online applications are really smart apps, where if you say you're self-employed, it's going to ask you for your tax returns and things. If you say you're W-2'd, it's going to ask you for your W-2s. It knows what to ask you for to upload to the system. And for your documentation, a lot of us can go on to ADP and some of the online stuff, and Wells Fargo and Bank of America's, and download our bank statements. You can upload them right to the system. It's the secure way to do it. So we have that as well.
Love it. Why don't you give our viewers your phone number?
Sure. 702-355-3228. It's right here. My cell phone. You can text me there too.
Taking calls now.
Taking calls now.
There you go.
Well,
Don't tempt anyone.
we're going to go ahead and go on another break, and we'll be right back with you.
This show is brought to you by Dream Tracks Academy.
Trying to buy a home these days is tough. We know. We hear it every day. Home inventory is at an all-time low. It's a seller's market, and cash buyers have the advantage. Recently, cash buyers made up more than a quarter of all home purchases. So, how do you compete with cash buyers and win? By becoming a cash buyer yourself. How do you do that? With New American Funding's Buyer Accepted program. Here's how it works. Buyer Accepted LLC, an affiliated company of New American Funding, will buy your new home with cash and sell it back to you for the original purchase price, plus a service fee that can be added to the purchase price of the home once you secure mortgage financing with New American Funding. This turns you into a cash buyer and helps you win the bidding war. And the best part? You don't need to sell your current home first. Don't miss this opportunity to buy your dream home. Call New American Funding today or visit newamericanfunding.com to learn more about becoming a cash buyer and winning the bidding war.
Hello, everyone. This is Joseph Skoda with Social Media Shows. Well, I thank all of you for your support through these last several years, and it's been a lot of fun. We've given people a voice they never had before. Now, Social Media Shows is always collaborating with our veterans to help them do things and help out the veterans who are struggling today. And we teamed up with GI Connections, connecting veterans with resources. So please consider helping and donating to this great cause, because we're always doing things for veterans. So GI Connections, Social Media Shows, and you is what makes the world a better place. Once again, Joseph Skoda, proud United States Air Force veteran.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Michele Kubiak.
And I'm JC, filling in for Patrick Frazee.
And we're back with Larry Garlutzo, and let's talk about VA loans.
I love VA loans. First of all, I think, those men and women that serve, and, they should take advantage of their VA opportunities, especially for VA mortgages. First of all, from down payment requirements to zero, right? That you can get into a house with zero down. And usually the interest rates for VAs are better than conventional and FHA loans. So VAs are one of my favorite loans. They have I think they have a little bit of a misnomer from the real estate community and also from sellers who aren't veterans or don't have any veterans within their family. I think there's some things that, you run across that too, right?
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that there is that misconception that, but VA loan is risky because they're not putting any money down. They don't have skin in the game. Mm-hmm. However, they do.
Yes.
My experience with veterans is that they're going to follow through with the closing of any property they have. And so there was, for a long time, the sellers had to pay the buyer's closing costs on a VA loan, right? Now that's not true, right?
Well, there was, and there still is, the VA non-allowable fees, right? But it's always been the same. The difference is that many lenders, and including New American Funding, we do it differently, and VA has come out with different guidelines as far as what can and can't be charged, what can be paid by the borrower, what can't be paid by the borrower. And with companies like New American Funding, who are really just, we're out to get people into homes, and home ownership is our main thing. We'll work around a $75 termite inspection. I mean, that's not the big deal, right?
Right.
And especially in a time like now where we do have a lot of seller concessions, that just the seller concession alone can be used for any of the closing costs. With a VA loan, we happen to use them for the non-allowables first. So there really isn't any extra fees or things that the borrower can't pay for that can't be handled. I get that a lot. Like, oh, if we allow VA loan, then it's going to cost us more as a seller, and that's just not true. It's not true at all.
And out of all the VA loans have you done, what is the percentage that have closed?
Wow, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big question. So I'm going to say 100%.
Yes, that's my experience too, because these veterans get transferred to Las Vegas, and most of them want to buy something instead of stay on the base, because the base housing,
Correct.
Is
well, then if
limited
they're
on
active
what
and
they
they're
can
using VA, I mean, they're going to have housing allowance too, which
Yes.
is going to make it easier for them as well. And I would say the only way that maybe a VA loan didn't close that I can remember would be for the property. Maybe the property didn't inspect, or the roof was bad, or something like that, right? But not really anything to do with the borrower, especially if they were pre-approved. With VA loans, we can go down to FICO scores as low as 500. There are different requirements for that, but we really do look out for and help the veteran as much as possible. They're one of our underserved markets. We talk about FHA loans in our Asian communities and our Hispanic communities, our Black communities that are underserved. So is the veteran population.
Right.
They're underserved as well.
Right. I remember trying to get a VA offer accepted at the height of the market, and it was hard. However, I ended up getting them
Which is
in. And,
shameful, really.
Yeah.
if you ask
helped
me.
them get it in. Yeah, because veterans deserve housing too, and they're
Yes,
they're
absolutely.
here. They get transferred here, so it's not like they're gonna.
Or, some of the veterans that I've worked with in the past are, retirees, so, war veterans that, they're on Social Security disability.
Yeah.
They got steady income. They're, usually have some money saved, decent FICO scores. And yeah, they should get their opportunity to get a home and not have to rent, for sure.
And their income is usually really, decent.
Yeah,
The average that I read was that the average income for a veteran is in the 90 to 100,000 range. So not only do they have a pre-qualification, and they're transferred here, they also have a good income, and usually their credit scores are pretty good.
Pretty
too,
decent.
right?
Most military people that I know, including my grandfathers and uncles, and they're all pretty disciplined. That's military is. In fact, this weekend I'm going down to San Diego. My son's best friend is graduating from the Marine Corps boot camp.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to go down for that.
Congratulations.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it should be pretty cool. So, but disciplined, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
For sure.
Very disciplined.
Yeah, I love VA loans. And I think the other issue that comes up when we're putting out offers for VA loans is the appraisal misconception from a lot of realtors and home sellers that the appraisal is going to be a big nightmare and they're going to be more stringent with repairs. And that's just not true either. Appraisers are going to appraise the property, and there's going to be appraisal contingencies, FHA conventionally, non-QM loans, jumbo is probably the most stringent if you want to know the truth, and VA is going to be right in there. So if you've got cracked and missing windows, if if there's mold on the wall, that's going to come up on any appraisal, not just VA.
Right. Right, and what I like about VA appraisals is that the appraiser gives us a chance, and they call Tidewater,
Right.
If they think the appraisal is going to come in low, right?
Yeah. So if we order the appraisal, we order it through the VA portal, right, and they assign it to one of the VA approved appraisers. if they do their desk work and they're going to do their desktop appraisal and say, hey, the comps really aren't supporting this property, they call Tidewater and they give you 24 hours to submit comps. We basically go back to the listing agent and say, how did you price this house? What comparables did you use? Comps, right? What comparables did you use to come up with this value?
Right. And conventional and FHA loans don't give that option usually, right? Because
No,
anyone that I've ever had that wasn't VA, anytime I've sent comps in after the fact, I haven't seen one changed. But with the VA loan, I've seen them, want our input so that the appraisal can come in to what it's supposed to be.
I think it's really similar on both sides. It's just a matter of when in the process it happens.
Right.
Sometimes with an FHA or a conventional appraisal, the appraiser will go do the appraisal, and if it comes in low or something we don't agree with, then we have to rebuttal the appraisal. And then at the time we send them the comps. We say, hey, we think we should have used these comparables instead. You didn't give us value for this. You didn't give us value for that. And then the appraisers will comment on, they'll either stand by their position and some will put their heels in and say, no, this is how it is. And some appraisers will say, okay, I see where you came up with that and give us a little more or whatever they need to. So I think, again, both appraisals are very equal. It's just a matter of timing on those. VA appraisals don't take as long as they were at one time. There was a time when VA appraisals were taking 2 weeks to get back. Now we get those in 5 to 7 days.
Right, yeah, the same time frame. And a lot of people think that still to this day, I've heard them tell me when I'm going to offer on a property with the VA buyer that, oh no, because the appraisal is going to take forever. Well, it's not. It's the same amount of time as any other appraisal, if not quicker, right?
Yeah, I agree. Appraisals for us at New American Funding are very fast. We have our own panel of appraisals, conventional and FHA, so they come in, within a couple of days. And VA appraisals lately, like I said, 5 to 7 days we'll get those appraisals back. Unless there's a Tidewater, then they give us a few days to kind of set it up, and that usually takes 9 to 10 days.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's
but
probably why they get.
I love VA loans. I really do. I think they're fantastic loans. Loan programs have helped a lot of people.
So if you're out there and you're wanting to sell your home, VA loans are an option. Your agent will ask you what type of financing you would accept. I put VA on all of my listings, and I explain the process to the seller, and another way for this appraisal also to be up, isn't it good for the seller's agent to get a list of the upgrades up front that the seller's done after they bought the house and
I like that idea for any loan.
Yeah.
Might as well give the appraiser all
Right.
the information. Hey, this is all the stuff we've done to the
Yes.
house. I mean, you and I both know, right,
Yeah.
that most of the time the appraised value is going to come down to square footage and comps.
Yep, not
Right.
bedrooms.
They're not going to care, you put a $17,000 waterfall in your backyard.
yeah.
Not really
Yeah.
going to care.
Yeah.
That you have an upgraded microwave. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe, right?
Yeah.
But not normally. So it's going to come down to comps and square footage. It's really
Yeah.
the big deal.
Usually, if I've had a seller that has done a ton of upgrades on their house, I'll say, I need you to get me a list of these so when it comes to the appraisal time that we could turn those in.
And it helps justify. So let's say I bought a house. I like to live in the house and redo the house and sell it. I'm one of those, right? I know those investors that they own or occupy for 12 months, but they're fixing it up in order to sell it. Maybe they bought it fairly cheap. Maybe it was a distressed property, and now they're selling it for top dollar. That's a good way to help their appraised value is by saying, well, hey, this is all the stuff I've done to it. That's why I think it's worth this. And then hopefully there's some comps that sold for that
Right?
in the area.
Yes.
Yeah.
They usually give about half of what you spent on upgrades, the appraiser will.
Well, at least they see where you're coming from, for sure. Yep.
Do you have any
VAs are good.
questions?
Casey, what about you?
What about
Yeah.
you?
I have a question.
Well,
Yeah, question.
Yes. Can you tell us the FICO score of borrowers? I know that it's kind of like very sensitive information to actually share.
For sure,
but
your credit
what
score,
is-
yeah.
Yeah. What is the
It's a great question. It really is a good question. So our question is, hey, what FICOs do I need to qualify, right? And there are different loan programs for different FICO scores. Your FICO is your credit score, and we do what's called a tri-merge pull. So we're going to pull from 3 agencies and take your middle FICO score. And the reason we do that is not all creditors report to all 3 credit agencies. So you might have your car loan only reports to one. And if we don't pull that one, well, maybe you're not getting credit for that credit. So we're going to pull the credit score in all 3 agencies, and we're going to take the middle FICO score. The higher FICO scores, more down payment, you're going to lean towards conventional financing, right? Because that's what they're geared to. A lot of your interest rate and pricing comes from FICO scores. There's a lot of different, somebody will ask me, hey, what's the interest rate today? Well, that really depends. That's a loaded question. It depends on your FICO score, your loan to value, the program type. If you're doing a DSCR loan, which is the debt service ratio for the investor, or a bank statement versus a VA loan, that's a completely different program, and interest rates are going to be completely different and based on different factors. So your FICO score, we can go as low as 500 FICO scores. Now there's there's usually some things that are going on if you have a 500 FICO score, right? That you may not qualify because of other items, collections on your credit report, things that are causing drama on that credit report to be 500. If you have a credit score in the upper 6s, 7s, 800s, you're going to be looking at conventional financing. Some conventional programs and jumbo programs require higher interest rate or higher FICO scores in order to qualify. FHA is a great program. Federal Housing Administration FHA loans are fantastic. Really for the first-time home buyer, underserved markets, maybe somebody with some credit challenges. You've got a 580 or 620 FICO score, and you want to get into a home. We would look at FHA first, probably there, because lower down payments, the FICO score hit isn't going to be as dramatic to the interest rate as a conventional loan. So really, we have a wide variety of FICO scores. Also, at New American Funding, we have the ability to work with our credit reporting agency to help build your credit, to help you fix things. If it's major credit repair, we're probably going to refer you out to a credit repair agency. If it's something smaller, like paying down your credit cards, getting those balances under 30%, undisputing your trade lines. A lot of people don't know that if you dispute trade lines on your credit report, it immediately helps your credit score, but we have to undispute those before we can close a mortgage. And as soon as you undispute the trade lines that you're disputing, it's going to affect your FICO score dramatically. So those are some of the things to think about if you're thinking about buying a home and getting ready.
So you're talking about fixing those credit reports. As we all know, in regards to the student loans, it's affecting a lot of FICO scores.
Correct. Student loans 5 years ago, we would just kind of leave them out, especially if they were deferred. We didn't even calculate it. Nowadays, we have to count them as real debt. So if you don't have a payment, if you still have a 0 payment on your credit report, we then have to, depending on which program we're using, use a percentage amount of your balance as your monthly payment against your debt to income ratio. Now, if I'm talking lots of stuff here, debt to income ratios, FICOs. If you don't know what I'm talking about, call me. Yes. We'll go through it. All right, we can sit down and talk about your individual situation. But in a nutshell, yes, we have to count student loans now as a part of your debt, and it can affect your FICO score. So if you're missing student loan payments and whatever, there's been some student loan forgiveness throughout the COVID stuff, but that could affect your home buying ability. Right. So if you're thinking about buying a home, you got to start, I think, sooner the better, right? So if you're like, I'm like a year away, call me. Let's get you set up on a program, on a plan. Because I do a lot of pre-approvals where I see people with decent credit scores, decent income, but they've got student loans like crazy. They're paying $4,000 a month in rent. They've got 2 $1,100 car payments. Their credit cards are maxed to the max, and they're not going to be able to own a home anytime soon until we fix that problem. So I can get you with, financial advisors. I work with 3 really good financial advisors that, we can get you in there and start paying down your debt. Get rid of that car and get a more reasonable car so you can start saving more money for down payment and getting yourself in a much better situation to build generational wealth.
So did you want to give the viewers your phone number?
Yeah, 702, thanks, Michelle. 702-355-3228. Or if you go on our website, New American Funding, Las Vegas and Henderson, we have 2 locations. We have loan officers from all walks of life that can help you. If you speak a certain language and you feel more comfortable speaking Spanish or Tagalog or Chinese, we have Chinese, Spanish, Tagalog speaking loan officers that can help you speak, in your language. I almost speak English, so.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Larry.
Blah, blah, blah. Right?
We're going to go on a short break and we'll be back.
This show is brought to you by New American Funding.
Trying to buy a home these days is tough. We know. We hear it every day. Home inventory is at an all-time low. It's a seller's market, and cash buyers have the advantage. Recently, cash buyers made up more than a quarter of all home purchases. So, how do you compete with cash buyers and win? By becoming a cash buyer yourself. How do you do that? With New American Funding's Buyer Accepted program. Here's how it works. Buyer Accepted LLC, an affiliated company of New American Funding, will buy your new home with cash and sell it back to you for the original purchase price, plus a service fee that can be added to the purchase price of the home once you secure mortgage financing with New American Funding. This turns you into a cash buyer and helps you win the bidding war. And the best part? You don't need to sell your current home first. Don't miss this opportunity to buy your dream home. Call New American Funding today or visit newamericanfunding.com to learn more about becoming a cash buyer and winning the bidding war.
Hello, everyone. This is Joseph Skoda with Social Media Shows. Well, I thank all of you for your support through these last several years, and it's been a lot of fun. We've given people a voice they never had before. Now, Social Media Shows is always collaborating with our veterans to help them do things and help out the veterans who are struggling today. And we teamed up with GI Connections, connecting veterans with resources. So please consider helping and donating to this great cause because we're always doing things for veterans. So GI Connections, Social Media Shows, and you is what makes the world a better place. Once again, Joseph Skoda, proud United States Air Force veteran.
Welcome back. My name is Michele Kubiak. I am a co-host on this show. However, I'm also a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services in Las Vegas. My license number is S.48606. My phone number is 702-683-6576. And we're going to talk about a few things. Market Watch is one of them. So I shared this last week also about inventory, and these numbers might not mean much to you. However, it's a good indicator of where the market is going. We had, again this week, more homes go under contract than came on the market, which means we are at low inventory again. We have... Last time I checked was a 9.5 week supply, which isn't that much. The reason for it is that a lot of home sellers had the low interest rates in 2020 to 2020, early in 2022, and the house they'd go to purchase would be, the payment would be 3 times as high as the house that they own today. So a lot of people don't want to move out of their homes. That's causing low inventory. However, if you are thinking of selling your home, as we just spoke about, well, we were talking about VA loans. If you're a home seller, definitely don't be discouraged, but don't not accept a VA buyer. I mean, there's things that make the property not qualify for it. However, you can call me. We can discuss that. And if you're thinking of selling, I put together some one staging tip today. So I have a staging tip. One of the things to do prior to getting your home on the market is definitely organize, and organize your closet. You know, closet, people will be going in your home. They'll want to look in the closet. Remember, it's the biggest purchase somebody will make in their lifetime. So you want to make sure it's organized and all of your valuables, medications, weapons are, steer clear. And any tidying up you can do, declutter, so that people can look at the house and not look at your things. Like I'm getting ready to put a home on the market here on Monday of next week, and I'm not afraid to tell people, let's get your personal photos taken off the walls. Let's put some plants by the front door. And I'll go in there and I'll ask them. And I have some of my own staging items that I'll add if they don't have decorator items. And I do that on vacant homes also. So if you're thinking of buying or selling Las Vegas real estate, I would be honored to help you. My phone number is 702-683-6576. And thankfully, we had Larry Garlutzo with New American Funding here also. So you have a team of professionals that are there to look out for your best interest and not ours. So thank you so much for being on air with us today. We really appreciate you being here. And if you want to be a sponsor on the show, you can DM social media networks or go to their website. They also take donations if you want to make a donation to the show so we can keep bringing you this valuable content.
This show is brought to you by Michele Kubiak. If you want to buy or sell a home, call Michele. 702-683-6576.
Welcome to social media shows. Have you been watching social media shows recently? Of course you have. We have been live streaming for 4 years across social media platforms. We produce over 70 shows with over 1,000 episodes. In the process, we've helped over 100 creators realize their dreams and start their own show. We give platforms to promote your business. If you are an artist, if you have an event, if you are entrepreneurs, or if you have a story. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe and follow us on major social media platforms. And if you have a great idea of a show, join us. Social media shows can help you produce and live stream your own show. Let us help you make your dream become a reality.
And welcome back to our last segment of the show. And this was a great show with Larry Garlutzo.
Yes, it's Italian.
Yes, it's Italian. We love our Italians here.
Yes. Hey, and this week is National Volunteer Week, so get out there and go do something, a random act of kindness. There's many organizations that are always seeking help, just like the minister from last week. He feeds the homeless. It's simple as going to McDonald's, buying 5 hamburgers, and being 5 homeless people. I've done that.
And that's always a good thing because we don't know what those homeless people are going through. Or sometimes, we get approached by them at, Circle K or 7-Eleven or wherever. And people would tell me, oh, you shouldn't give them anything. You shouldn't give them money because they might buy drugs or alcohol. And I
Yeah.
always tell my friends, well, it's on them.
Yes, and
You know, yeah.
that's funny you
Mhm.
said that because I was at a grocery store one time
Mhm.
and I said, I was in line at the register and I said, I just gave that guy money and I
Yeah.
don't know what he's going to do with it. And there was some random stranger behind me that
Right.
said, it doesn't matter that what he does with it, it just matters that you were willing to give it.
Right.
And ever
right.
since then, I remember that, you know, because, I mean, we don't know if they're going to go buy a big bottle of water or they have a dog at home that needs
Right.
food.
Exactly.
We just don't know, you know?
So, and you mentioned about the pastor and the minister.
Yes.
So basically, that random act of kindness is Christ in action.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Hmm.
Definitely.
So there you have it.
Yes. Well, thank you for watching today. And I'm glad you were here today. So
Thank you.
we'll see you next week.
Even though I was quiet as a mouse, just absorbing everything in.
Yeah, he's great.
Thank you.
See you next week.